20 years ago, I was pregnant with my first child, Maria. Like most first-time parents, Woody and I did all the prep work, like getting rid of the BMW motorcycle and buying the four-door car. We converted our office and exercise room into a nursery. We attended parenting classes and Lamaze classes. We even read that all-important book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. But none of that so-called prep work prepared Woody and I for the news we received on July 9, 1992. During a routine ultrasound just 1 week before my due date, the doctors discovered that Maria's head was much too large. They told us she had a condition called hydrocephalus, which is too much fluid on the brain, and that she would require brain surgery and the placement of a shunt to divert the fluid away from her brain to other parts of her body. Woody and I were coming to the fast realization, that we would not be coming home with the child that we had anticipated or planned for the last 9 months. And whether we were ready or not, we would be heading down a very different path in life, and one that sure wasn't covered in any class that we had attended or book that we had read. So Maria underwent her first surgery just 5 days after she was born. I say her first surgery because throughout the years, Maria has had 6 surgeries to treat her hydrocephalus. The second came just 2 weeks after her first, when she developed a staph infection in her brain. Over the next several months, Woody and I couldn't help but notice that her development was slow. She rarely used her left arm and leg and didn't explore or engage in her environment. During the first year of her life, she was seen by a pediatric ophthalmologist who broke the news that Maria's vision was very limited due to optic nerve atrophy caused by her hydrocephalus. This was just the beginning of numerous tests, evaluations, and disappointments for our family. Maria would eventually be diagnosed with CP and would not walk until she was 2 years old. When she was 3, we learned of her speech deficits and language impairments, and we were told that due to her vision loss and her poor motor skills and her learning problems, that she would have a difficult time learning to read and write like other children did. It was recommended that Maria attend a more intense and consistent early intervention program. So for the next 3 years, Maria attended a 5-day-a-week, full-day preschool program for special needs children. It was here one day that I ran into Margaret Dumit, who encouraged me to bring Maria to the STAR Center for an assistive technology evaluation. My first thoughts were, no way, not another evaluation to identify more deficits and problems. We were already so tired and overwhelmed. But for those of you who know Margaret Dumit, she rarely takes no for an answer. So after much resistance from me and much persistence from Margaret, we brought Maria to the center. That was 15 years ago. What began as a single evaluation has turned into a 15-year relationship between our family and the STAR Center. The STAR Center has always had such a welcoming and non-threatening environment for Maria. And they not only addressed her deficits, but also focused on her interests, abilities, and gifts. The STAR Center staff soon capitalized on Maria's love for music when they enrolled her in their music therapy program. There they worked with letter and word recognition, vocabulary, reading and math skills. They even addressed her motor skills and life skills like telling time, all through the use of music. From there, Maria began working in the learning lab on computer programs to address her many learning disabilities. Later, she received art therapy and received orientation and mobility training to teach her travel skills with her cane. Throughout the years, the STAR Center has supported Maria's goals, whatever they were at that moment. During the stressful high school years, when Maria was working on her regular ed diploma, the center not only assisted her educationally, but especially supported her emotionally and socially. Now that she has graduated from high school, the center continues to support Maria in her pursuit of independence and her desire to work and serve the elderly and to put materials on tape for people in need. Maria is presently at the center 3.5 days a week, and she receives services from Orientation and Mobility to teach her travel skills within the community. She also receives services from their Job Tracks program to prepare her for employment, and she volunteers with the music and art therapy programs at Elmcroft Assisted Living and Memory Care. Her time now at the center has given her a new goal-directed purpose and focus in life. She looks forward to coming to the center every day, and she is driven by her love of people and her dream to have her own life. And now I'd like to introduce you to Maria. Where's your mic when you get done? All right.
Hi, I'm Maria. I've been coming to the Star Center since I was about 5 years old. The center means a great deal to me. They have always been there and have encouraged me to accomplish my goals even if I didn't think I could. Through each challenge, the center has believed in me and made me feel like I make a difference. They're like a family to me and have played such an important role in my life. Now that I've graduated from high school, the center is helping me to become more independent and prepare for a job. I attend the Job Tracks program 3 days a week to work on computer and personal life skills that will help me be successful at work. One of my favorite activities is volunteering at Elmcroft Assisted Living and Memory Care. We sing songs and create artwork, but most importantly is the time I get to spend interacting with the residents. They're my kindred spirits. I love talking and listening to their stories. I believe I have a lot in common with the elderly, and I hope someday that I'll have a job working with them. I hope to become a storyteller as well as putting books on tape. The center is helping me to make this dream come true. Without their assistance, direction, and support, I might not have the courage to do what I want to do in life. Now I'd like to share part of a story written by Dr. Seuss that explains what the Star Center means to all of us with disabilities. To have someone believe in you and not give up on you can make all the difference. Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. On the 15th of May in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton, but who are you where? He looked, and he looked. He could see nothing there, but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of a creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air. He lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humph! Humped a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Humph, too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been. Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's 2, even 3, even 4. Quite likely a family for all that we know. A family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Newell. And the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What terrible splashing! The elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on that flower. And Horton walked worrying almost an hour. Should I put this speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't after all. A person's a person, no matter how small. Thank you, Star Center, for believing in me.